So we're getting ready to have that conversation now and everything. We're getting ready to converse about everything from the whole 60 Minutes Kamala Harris thing going on right now to what Paramount is doing with this merger. Then, if y'all didn't know already, our boy Lester Holt is stepping down, and the date has been announced. And so I got to talk about that. And then I got to talk about this Trump versus PBS and NPR and free media thing, because that's another thing that's like really, really like pissing me off right now. And yeah, we're going to get all of that. Let's start at the top here. And if you'll notice, the title of tonight's stream of this edition of the NightBeat Breakdown is Afraid of the Truth, Kamala Lawsuits, Billionaires, and Why Black Media Must Rise. So I have to get a sip of water. So it's just me and you, y'all. It's just me and you, y'all. And so it's just me and you, minimum graphics, no distraction. And we're about to get into this conversation that's got all the receipts and the facts and the fire to go along with it. So let's start with the first part, and then I'm going to try and bring this all full circle. Let's start with the Kamala Harris interview. So Kamala Harris sat down, as we all know, with 60 Minutes last year during the election. So we all know that the interview was tense, but it was controlled and measured in a tense way. And during that interview, she dared to show clarity and confidence. So now, if we begin to fast forward this very slowly now, we see that this very same interview that's caused all of this controversy and things like that, this very same interview now is and has just been nominated for an Emmy. And the category it was nominated for the Emmy in is Outstanding Edited Video. All that simply means, y'all, is the journalism team behind it made a damn good product, one that reached, resonated, and revealed. But I'm sure y'all are just like me trying to figure out what Trump did in all of this. And so with that, give me 1 second here. Our stream is not up on YouTube, so let me get us up on the YouTube. All right. And so with that, family, now that we are streaming live to YouTube, Trump did something. I mean, hell, Trump is always doing something. We all know that. So what did he do? Well, if you ain't heard already, what he went ahead and did was he filed a $20 billion lawsuit against CBS. He said they distorted the reality. He accused them of trying to tip the election, in a sense, when he said this. And so that's $20 billion, y'all. Damn, like, wake the hell up. $20 billion. Not one, not two, but 20. That ain't a lawsuit. That's what I call a hit job with a law degree. And what did the FCC do? And what did they say? So what they did, what they're doing rather, not what they did, but what they're doing now is they're essentially investigating and sniffing around now. And so with them sniffing around and all of this now, if you all get our Morning Trap newsletter, and if you don't, I encourage you to go over to our website and sign up for it at welcomehomekin.com. We covered on Monday, actually on Sunday night, right after it happened, and it was in the Monday morning edition. It came out at 6:30 a.m. about the executive producer of 60 Minutes resigning, and not just him resigning, but about how Scott Pelley and the team came out and rebuked their parent company for everything that they are doing currently and trying to take editorial control. So, not only did their EP resign, and for those of you that don't know in this industry, what we call the EP that's like having the head chef leaving mid-service because somebody done slipped poison in in grandma's roast beef stew, or not roast beef stew, but pot roast stew. That's essentially what it's like. So now I need y'all to understand that none of this shit that's going on with them right now, none of it's about Kamala. It just factually ain't. It's about punishing truth that don't flatter white power. It's about intimidating newsrooms that don't bow down to Trump. So now let's really begin now to dig into this Shari Redstone situation. And when we begin to dig into this, you'll begin to see that this ain't just some rich white woman, y'all, doing boardroom stuff. This is a blueprint for how truth gets silenced here in America, and why platforms like Ken Plus are so vitally important. If you hold that thought, I'm gonna get to it here in just a minute. So now we have Shari Redstone, who is the controlling shareholder of Paramount Global. That means CBS, News, 60 Minutes, BET, MTV, Showtime, Paramount Plus. I could go on, meaning she just owns the whole damn media playground right there. And so, according to reports, during the biggest lawsuit of Donald Trump's political life, and y'all know it ain't but 10 minutes long, if that, she told CBS executives to delay airing critical stories about him. Until what? Until her multi-billion-dollar merger deal with Skydance Media could just go through scot clean free. So that means while y'all's president, Trump, is out here calling the media fake and all that shit, Shari Redstone now was in the back boardroom, and not just in the back boardroom, but in the back room, period, just saying who the real. Don't be doing all that bullshit. Don't be talking about Trump. Don't give him nothing to come after us. He's so, or don't give him a reason to fuck with my money or this deal or anything. So basically what she's doing is suppressing. Basically what this is called is censorship, that sabotage of the public's right to know. So let me put this in black terms that you hear in the barbershop or beauty salon. If CBS was about to expose Trump's deals, lies, or connection, Shari was just basically like, hold all that shit until I secure my bag. That's essentially what she was like, y'all. And that's what happens when journalism becomes a line item on a billionaire's spreadsheet. So you have to ask yourself the question. If a billionaire can press pause on a news story because it might hurt her bottom line, what else has she already buried, and what else has already been buried? So what stories have police, or let me back up. What stories about police killings got clipped because code feet? What stories about black wealth, black resistance, or black truth just never saw the light of day? Or what whistleblowers got silenced while some execs said, not right now? I'll wait. You see, this ain't just about one shady deal, y'all. This is the quiet, consistent silencing of anything that might disrupt the white, wealthy status quo. And it proves one thing clear as a day, if y'all don't get this already, and it is that black media ain't a niche. It's a necessity. Because you see what? We ain't waiting for nobody's money to tell what the fucking truth is. We gonna tell it like it is, the way it is, and the way it needs to be told. We don't delay the truth to protect the bag and to protect the empire. We tell it to protect the people, our people. So now, there's the Madam Vice President piece and interview component to this whole thing. Then there's the whole shareholder boardroom thing with Shari. Now, as if that wasn't enough, y'all, we got Trump trying to go up against public funded media, PBS and NPR. He just signed an executive order today, essentially cutting off federal funding to them. Yeah, y'all heard me right. That's right. He killed the two platforms that consistently deliver non-commercial, civic-focused educational journalism. You can't get any punditry on there. You can't get anything from the right, the conservative side. You can't get anything from the left, the Democratic, or the liberal side, or the progressive side. You get straight news and hardcore facts. Straight old school journalism. And this is especially true in rural communities, in black communities, and in low income communities. Why? Because he doesn't control them. They don't do MAGA puff pieces, and they damn sure don't do that whole kiss the ring ordeal that Fox News and MAGA and Tim Pool and all of these other conservative outlets are doing. So you have to ask yourself, what's the answer then? Well, the answer then is to silence them. So let me be clear. What this executive order is it ain't no policy. I'll tell you that right now. What it is sure enough a damn punishment. And who suffers? Your grandmama, the grandma rather, in Mississippi who gets her news from PBS. That's who suffers. You know who else suffers? That inner city classroom that uses NPR for lesson plans. You know who else suffers is that little kid because mama and daddy can't afford Netflix and Hulu and all of that. And all they could afford is putting an antenna in back of the TV, and you get PBS and all you can afford to watch is Dinosaur Train. Y'all ain't hearing me. Yeah, the single... Whew. Yeah, y'all ain't hearing me. They ain't just cut funding. They full on launched a war on independent, non-commercial, black accessible media. Now, let's talk about Lester Holt. You see, Lester, a mentor, a friend, an elder statesman of black faces in network news. You see, Lester's been hosting NBC Nightly News since 2015. And when he took over Nightly News, the NBC Nightly News broadcast, he took it over after the whole Brian Williams debacle with him, for him putting in details to a story about when he was overseas on a helicopter, something that just didn't happen. He lied. There's no other way to put it. He lied. And so when Lester took over, he became the fourth solo anchor of that broadcast. And not just the fourth solo anchor ever in the history of the NBC Nightly News franchise, but he was the first black man to solo anchor a weekday evening newscast. Lester, I love his storytelling. He's a class act. He's polished. Lester ain't never too loud, he's never too radical, and he's always within the boundaries of respectability. But yet, he's now decided to walk away. NBC says this is about new directions and fresh voices and all that bullshit. But if we're reading between the lines, like I read between the lines down, being in this industry for 15 years, is he's stepping down at a time when corporate media is under fire from all sides. He's stepping down at a time when Trump is attacking journalists with legal threats, even more than he did during his first term. And he's stepping down during a time when executives are silencing uncomfortable stories. And he's also stepping down during a time when billionaires are privatizing what little truth is left. So, here's what this really signals, is even the safe black voices are no longer safe. Even the black man who never rocked the boat, never raised his voice, never made the white folks too nervous, even he is now seen as expendable. And the man replacing him, Tom Lamas, has been with NBC for more than a few years now. Tom, he came from ABC News, and where you would remember during his time over at ABC News, he was set to be the younger version of David Muir. So is that why they're dragging him over there? And that's why they have named him the successor to Lester Holt? Because Lester announced yesterday that his last is going to be May 30th, which means on June 2nd, that Tom will take over. Now, I ain't trying to drag Tom. Might even do great too. But I don't want y'all to miss the symbolism here tonight, y'all. They aren't just replacing Lester. They're phasing out black truth-telling from the national airwaves. And they're doing it so slowly and subtly and strategically and surgically right in front of our very faces. That's what's happening here. And this ain't no revolution. This is the reset of who gets to speak, of what neutrality looks like, of how far black excellence can go before it becomes inconvenient. Fam, if Lester can't stay in the seat, what hope is there for someone bolder? For the sister who gonna name white supremacy on air, for the brother who gonna say mass incarceration instead of tough on crime. We saw what happened to Joy-Ann Reid on MSNBC. We saw and we know that they don't want that smoke. They want puppets, and they just don't want any type of puppets. They want polished puppets. And so while they exit out Lester Holt quietly, we got to be building the next platform loudly. So, Ken fam, what I'm trying to tell y'all all tonight, and y'all got to talk to me in the chat. I really do need y'all talking to me in the chat right here. So, this is where I tell y'all, we need black media where black brilliance ain't just a liability, where black boldness is the baseline and not the exception. So let me put this all together to you. Let me bring this full circle and full stop and tell you and explain to you all what this means for Black America. What this simply means for Black America is Kamala gets an Emmy nod. Trump sues. CBS gets muzzled by a billionaire. Trump kills PBS. And Lester gets pushed out the back. And all random, it's strategic, it's surgical, and it's about silence. They don't want black folks talking too loudly. They want us talking safely. But not on this mic, not on this show, not here. We tell the truth even when it costs us. We ask the tough questions when it costs us. That's why they don't want people like us and this outlet and my former outlet covering the mayor of Columbus. Yeah, I'm calling it ace a ace and a deuce a deuce. Because I've been doing that and I ain't going to stop. We're going to continue to do that right here on Ken Plus. They ain't going to ask us to bury a story and then it gets buried. Hell no. And you know what? We are going to remind the system that you can try your damnness to cancel PBS. You can sue CBS, but you ain't never going to silence Ken Plus. It just ain't going to happen. And that's the NightBeat Breakdown, everybody. I'm your boy, DaVante Goins. And y'all know, they might control the airways, but we control the future. I love y'all, everybody. As always, Black America, remember to keep it real because your conscience depends on it.